So matcha then is steamed, cut, stored away maybe for half a year. Then it's brought out and then it's ground. Back in the day, you would do that yourself individually. But still, it has to be sifted again so it's all nice and fine. And then it needs to be placed carefully into the container. So again, we don't just dump anything in. We have to put the tea in a scoop at a time. So these things are already set. Got my water, got my cold water, got my tea, set up a couple things over here. So we're almost ready. Almost ready. My name is Omar Francis. I am the instructor here for Japanese tea ceremony. It's also known as Chanoyu or Chado. People often ask, like, what is a tea ceremony? But again, it's hard to put into words, so it's easier to say what it's not. And what it's not is a ceremony. It's not really a special ceremony that's done at a certain time, at a certain place. It's not for graduation. It's not religious. It's not a ritual. It's a very special moment in time where you get other people together and you hopefully can share this heart-to-heart connection. I definitely am interested in Japanese culture, but it wasn't the culture that first drew me in. It was the possibility of doing something that could express certain ideas like in action. That feeling that somebody gets you, that somebody sees what is really you right there in the moment. So like for tea gathering, we do have all of this etiquette. And so when you see someone vary a little bit from that etiquette, you can kind of tell what's coming out of them. You know, there's a certain way you're supposed to stand and sit and walk across the room. There's a certain way you're supposed to lift a tea bowl or turn it around. You could potentially have this connection with someone beyond words, and you just kind of feel each other. You just kind of get each other. But as my teacher, Joyce Kobose says, that the rules aren't there to control you. The rules are there to set you free. With Chanoyu, you and what you do is the art. It's not something you make somewhere and then put together and then you put out for someone else. It's like, as you're doing it, as you're living it, that's the art. It always was something that felt familiar. It's like, oh, that's what I've been trying to do, or that's what I've been trying to express. I remember mentioning to a friend of mine that I'm even working here teaching classes at the Japanese Cultural Center. And he's like, but you're not Japanese. How can you teach a class in Japanese culture? You're not Japanese. Is that even appropriate? And I thought that was weird. Everybody has to be trained, Japanese or not. It's kind of like we're all starting from the same place. So it's not that like if you're Japanese, it just pours out of you naturally. You know, everyone has to learn this. And so once you learn this, you're in this. And you're not watching this from afar, you're in the middle of it. And I think that's what's also really nice about tea ceremony or Chanoyu is that it's not us pretending to do something or putting on a performance of a thing. We're just doing this thing. But tea is a lifelong study. The idea is that you could easily study your entire life. So there's no rush. Take your time. I've been told the first 20 years, just do what you're told. The second 20 years, maybe you can experiment. In your last 20 years, that's when you really come into your own, into your understanding. It takes time and practice to feel comfortable enough in what you're doing to let your heart out. So sometimes it could be years and years before you feel that. But I think that's the essence of a tea gathering. This moment in time, just focusing on each other and what's going on. So in many ways, all this other stuff, they're devices to help us get there. But I think really the heart of it is that connection.